Hi friends, we're here at Epcot today for the Epcot Food and Wine Festival. We're going to try to check out some of the booths, see what they have to offer, see what's new this year, see what's new around Epcot. Now friends, when you get to Epcot, don't forget to pick up your passport. In here it'll show all of the different booths, what's going on when, and it'll give you stickers. Let me find an example. It'll give you stickers to place at each of the different places where you tried a food or a drink or check something out. So we're here at the Festival Center. This is in the old Wonders of Life Pavilion, and right now we're in the Ghirardelli section of it. And we're going to check out the chocolate sculptures that they have. So the first one that they have is actually a mock-up of Toy Story Land. And all of this is made out of chocolate. You can tell down here they actually have like a little thermometer. It also tracks, I believe it's the percentage of humidity in there. Oop. Let's see if I can get the glare out of the way. There you go. So you can see it's 75 degrees in there with 66%. I think it might be humidity. And this sculpture was designed by some staff from Hollywood Studios. So my guess is the Hollywood Studios Bakery. This display is from Black Panther and it's called Wakanda Forever. And this is from the chefs at the Animal Kingdom Lodge Bakery. The next is the Headless Horseman from The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, and this is from Disney's Boardwalk Inn Bakery. So you can tell Headless Horseman, Graveyard, really impressive. The next is from Coco. Oh, let's see if I can get it without a glare. So they've got the guitar, and can you actually see it? Not too bad. This is presented by the Epcot Production Bakery. And this is a play on the Disney's Polynesian Resort. This tiki is actually in the great ceremony hall at the Polynesian Resort. So this is a representation, and it was created by the bakery at the Disney Polynesian Resort and Village. And last is a cheetah. It's called an it's an African leopard resting in the savannah. And it was designed and built by the bakery at the Grand Floridian Resort and Spa. The first item we tried is the liquid nitro chocolate almond truffle from the Chocolate Studio. It is served with a warm whiskey caramel. To me, it tasted like frozen chocolate mousse. It didn't get much of the almond flavor from the chocolate, but there was some almond pieces on top, which added a nice crunch. The whiskey caramel was so good, and I'm really looking to find a recipe to make that at home in the future. The next item was my favorite savory dish so far from the festival. It was the braised beef stroganoff from the Cheese Studio. It came with tiny egg noodles, wild mushrooms, and a Bursin garlic herb cheese sauce. It was also topped with a thinly sliced pickle. This dish was amazing, and I now am looking to replicate this at home. Every time I go to the festival, I look at that and I'm like, yeah, I want that again. I will say that I wasn't a big fan of the pickle mixed in with the beef stroganoff. I think they could have left that off, and it would have ended up being okay. In Brazil, I tried the pão de queijo, which it was essentially cheese bread. It was good. It was a little greasy for my liking, but not bad. I'm not sure if I would purchase it again. Overall, it was an okay offer and definitely a safe choice if you have picky eaters in your party. In Belgium, I tried one of my favorite dishes from the festival last year, which was the beer braised beef in Belgium. I felt that it was not as good as last year, though. I'm not sure if it was because we tried the beef stroganoff, which was amazing earlier that day, or what, but I will say there was a lot more carrots in the mix than there was last year, and the mashed potatoes did not have any like cheese or Gouda flavoring, and they were a little more grainy than I remember them being last year. So it was okay, but It definitely was not as good as the beef stroganoff. The beef stroganoff kind of set a pretty high standard. While waiting for the Tiffany concert at the American Gardens Pavilion, I grabbed one of the items I was most excited about this year, which was the lobster roll from Hops and Barley. The lobster was cooked perfectly and it was amazing. However, the serving was very small for $8, so it's kind of hard to justify getting that item again, though if you have the time and you want to spend a little bit of extra money, I definitely recommend trying that out. After the Tiffany concert, the group I was with stopped by the Africa booth and tried the Bear-style beef tenderloin tip. They offered me a sample, and the beef was very tender. However, it was very spicy. I will say all the dishes that we tried from the festival, other than the lobster roll, were pretty good size for the price that they were. I would definitely recommend this if you have someone in your family who likes a lot of spice and a lot of heat, but it was not for my liking. Hey guys, we're in the Light Lab here in Inventions. It's right behind Character Spot and right next to the Coca-Cola shop. I had the phosphorescent freeze and we're gonna give it a try. Woo! It kind of tastes like green apple and cotton candy. And there's a third flavor, but I can't put my finger on it. It's not carbonated. This is $7. You get to keep the cup, and you can find it here at the Light Lab. Also from the Light Lab, we tried the cider flight. I heard a lot of good reviews about the RGB flight, but I'm not a big beer person, so the cider flight was definitely up my alley. Cider flight came with the original thin dry rosé hard cider, the Three Daughters Brewing blueberry peppercorn hard cider, and the Cider Boys Zenberry hard cider, which ended up being our favorite, followed by the blueberry peppercorn, although they were all very good, and I would definitely recommend the flight. The pours were pretty good size. I think they said they were about 4-ounce pours, and I believe the flight cost about $9, so about $3 a pour, which was a pretty good deal for what you got. But I definitely recommend checking that out, especially if you're a hard cider fan. At the Flavors from Fire booth, we tried both a savory and a sweet dish. We started with the charred chimichurri skirt steak, which was excellent. I really enjoyed the corn cake and the pickled vegetables that came with it. It kind of all balanced it out. The pickled vegetables were slightly tangy from the vinegar, and the corn cake was nice and dense, but almost on the sweet side. For dessert, we tried the chocolate picante. It was very nice, partially because it was dark chocolate, meaning it wasn't super sweet, and then the fiery kick from the cayenne pepper at the end wasn't over the top. It didn't overpower the taste of the chocolate. It just kind of gave it a slight heat at the end, kind of like in the back of your mouth. Definitely recommend that. Both of those items, they were both fantastic. So this here is the maple bourbon Bourbon cheesecake with maple bourbon cream, which is what you see underneath the pecans, caramel, and pecan crunch on top. And this is one of the best-selling items so far at the 2018 Food and Wine Festival here at Epcot. This is one of the most delicious items I've ever had. I know it looks like I haven't eaten any. I've actually had my own. This is another one that someone else has purchased. You can find this in the Cheese Studio, sort of on your way from Future World to the World Showcase. So I highly recommend checking it out. It's a hot seller this year. Everyone I've talked to has seemed to have loved it. So that wraps up our day here at Epcot's Food and Wine Festival. The festival runs from August 30th to about November 12th, so you got plenty of time to come check it out. I highly recommend you come check out that maple bourbon Bourbon cheesecake from the Cheese Studio. It is phenomenal. I've seen so many people order that since getting it. It is so good. But I'll catch you next time on Bridgette's Buzz.